Reddit reports. Like, subscribe and hit the bell. Girls who took notes using 50 different colored pens, where are you now? Do you still continue to write using all those colors?
Am I allowed to answer if I'm a guy? Because I ended up becoming the Excel guy in my office. All of my spreadsheets are exquisitely color-coded.
Formatting an Excel doc and making it look pretty is one of the most satisfying feelings in the world.
The real trick is getting the conditional formatting just so. Then, when you enter new data, it's already color-coded. Ah! The sweet sensation of conditional formatting and data validation working together while inputting new data is something I'll enjoy forever.
Data validation? It's all about that personal validation. Nothing on earth makes me happier than an unprompted, "Wow, this report/spreadsheet looks really nice." After I spent 3 times as long to make it look nice and professional than I did actually inputting the data/formulas. My wife doesn't even try to wrap presents anymore and makes me do it because I'm all about that presentation. Ironically, my handwriting still looks like the chicken scratch of a dying man with dementia. So at least she's in charge of writing names.
I never took the colored notes and my handwriting is atrocious, but I made up for it in Excel design. I once had a girl tell me your spreadsheets are sex. I think she meant sexy, but somehow the misspelling made it so much better for my ego. Actually, something as sex is an actual expression that I've heard before. It has more oomph to it, so people sometimes say it instead of sexy. Generally, to have the effect described by your last sentence. Smile.
You are the IT department's worst nightmare. Your visually appealing Excel spreadsheets make people daisy-chain needlessly complex and pointless formulas, in an effort to attempt things that should be done in a database. Their creations then become unusable and they complain at us for not supporting their usage. Edit. Haha, loving the responses and differing perspectives. Rip my inbox though. Edit 2. Thank you for gold, kind stranger.
Bold of you to assume my company has an IT department, or would be willing to switch to using a database. Yeah, there are definitely formula errors in that spreadsheet.
Oh, man, then you're going to hate my macros and user forms.
Exactly as I expected.
This is me, but our IT department won't give us any DB software, so the war rages on.
But did it work?
Sure did. I and pretty much everyone else used it all the way through school.
MMA guys need to know how to keep doing stuff that works and stop doing things that don't work, or else they get beat up.
This comment is the best part of your story.
Hey, you'd listen to if an MMA fighter was making you take notes. At least for uni-level math, a 4-color ballpoint pen can be a freaking lifesaver, since you often sketch multiple functions in the same graph, or do different vectors in 3D, etc.
My US Good teacher tried this and we fought so hard on it. I eventually ended up telling him that I'd make a study guide when he made a test I couldn't pass without it, and he got me transferred to his AP course and I got destroyed. Thanks, Mr. Harris.
My freshman bio teacher made us do this, so I started taking notes in crayon. Something about him just inspired malicious compliance.
Did you end up joining the Marines?
He said he wrote with crayons, not that he ate the crayons. I don't take notes with colored pens, but I do highlight textbooks with different colors. Usually it's yellow, key ideas, pink, definitions, and blue, theories. It helps me understand the content to have to pull back and really think about everything in context and decipher what are the key ideas in this text.
Technicolor Dream Notes is the best phrase I've heard all day.
Josie and the astounding Technicolor Dream Note.
Jose the arousing Technicolor Dreamboat.
I wrote my note, with golden lining, bright colors shining, wonderful and new. And in the east, I was still drawing, but the world was boring, any pen won't do. A good PM is solid fucking gold. If she ever moves to another company, follow her there.
I've found there isn't much in the middle ground for PMs, and a good one is hard to come across. Either they're great and a project runs so smoothly you don't even notice they're operating, or they're horrible and even a small fuck-up daisy chains into a major issue because they don't catch it and or have contingency plans. Had a competing GC years back that totally missed an under-counter plug mold until the entire kitchen was done. $30 part and $75 in labor, but it's code for a kitchen island, can't drape cords over walkways in kitchen, have to have plugs on island. Had to remove an entire huge counter and thereby undermount sink, disposer, filter, faucet, etc. so electricians could get to it. $100 turned into about a $5,000 mistake, all because he didn't catch it until inspection time.
Who ate the cost?
My partner is a PM and I always wonder if he's good at it. I only know him, whose eyebrows I pluck and farts I endure.
What's a PM?
Project manager. Not gonna lie, I thought it was Prime Minister, smirking face, Lamo, I'm so confused.
We all became bullet journalists.
I move that the term bullet journalists replace war correspondents.
Does that mean wankers are palm pilots?
I was looking for this comment. I take notes on my computer at work, so I take out my pen obsession on bullet journals. Pilot Precise V5 Extra Fine is my pen of choice these days. Try it. You won't be disappointed.
Just wanted to chip in and say that writing with Pilot pens literally gives me a high. I haven't found a better pen, and always use those and ones from the Asian stationery store near me.
The V5 is so smooth and satisfying.
Save that for any judge with an I in their surname.
If anyone steals your case notes, you could use this method to protect yourself, and make them look a fool. Green means go ahead and shut up about it. Orange means orange, you glad you didn't say it. https://m.youtube.com/watch. V equals QKMTTKUBOW.
Most colors mean you shouldn't say it.
Most colors mean don't say it. Maybe my all-time favorite Michael Scott quote. I had a law school classmate who tried to claim that her highlighting/margin notes actually made her used con law textbook more valuable, because she did well in the class. I replied to the listserv and offered my book for cheap because I got a bad grade. Neither book sold because the school started using a new edition.
I actually enjoyed buying books filled with notes. Most of the time it just made me feel smart. Wait, this idiot that had the book before me didn't already know this. What a dumbass.
I enjoy the insight into what other people think is important in the text.
Honestly, yeah. I got a used copy of The Great Gatsby that had every single mention of color highlighted, which made me go look it up, and turns out, it is an important theme in that book.
The library near my house actually does sell annotated books from the local schools for more than the normal copies, but they aren't textbooks, more like novels assigned to middle and high schoolers.
You mean Legally Blonde was a lie, and no one submits their CV on pink-scented paper? Submitted a lab report on curry-scented paper, but that's 'cause I packed the printed paper next to the spices when we moved.
One of the elementary school kids I worked with always handed in homework that made me want to send a note home and ask his mom for recipes.
The elementary school kids I work with always handing homework that makes me want to send a note home and tell them their dealer has shit weed.
I had one student who would turn in her homework with different food spills on it nearly every day. It was fun playing guess what she dropped on it.
10/10 would hire the person with the curry resume over a resume of equal achievement that just smelled like paper.
I review job applications and resumes in my work. Yes, people submit them on colored paper and with festive choices of ink. Scented would be a new one for me, but I'm still holding out hope.
Do you discard resumes because of this?
Absolutely not. My work is in employment compliance, so that would be a bad idea. I definitely chuckle about them though. It makes me wonder what they were thinking.
Did anyone ever send you their resume in a box with a shoe in it? And a note saying just want to get my foot in the door? The Thanos method. Tried and true.
I know you're, probably, joking, but do you shuffle them first or do they appear in the order that people applied in?
Same, but I kept it up throughout law school and beyond. I also use color coding in my paper calendar to differentiate between docs due, research due, meetings, etc. I recently learned how to color code certain emails in Outlook based on sender or topic. It's really helpful and so much more fun than boring black or blue ink.
Prep Guide for Law School. 1. Sell your soul in exchange for the forbidden knowledge. 2. Don't bother reading the terms and conditions. 3. Regret not reading the small print. 4. Endless case law. 5. Profit.
I used different ink and highlighter colors to compensate for terrible ad. I work in a chemistry lab now. Sometimes I'll still use brightly colored pens to record my results for fun, but I don't ever switch between colors/color code anything anymore. All the different coloring/highlighting helped me remember my notes come exam time, so now that I'm out of college, I don't need to switch between colors. I low-key miss color coding and taking notes sometimes, though. When you took the time to color code during class, did you ever become seriously behind as the teacher moved on? If so, how did you compensate?
No, not really. I would write my original notes and only switch colors every now and then during the lectures. After class, though, I would recopy and reorganize my notes very thoroughly, and that's when the color coding would take place. It's honestly a great system. I never really had to study because I could remember my notes so well after doing this. 10/10 would recommend.
Same here. I used this technique through HS and college. Pay close attention and take brief notes in class. Read text and revise notes. Use a condensed outline or note cards to review/study. Generally, after going over/revising the notes in different formats, very little studying was needed and I retained the info much longer.
Not hot, but I used colored pens for similar reasons. I didn't use them all in class. Class was for quick notes and following handouts. Note revision, making detailed notes from the class notes and textbooks, was when I could bust out my best handwriting and pretty colors and draw nice diagrams and stuff. People don't understand the importance of note revision and studying from the texts. In high school you don't learn that because most people can skate by if they just pay attention in class. But you can't do that once you get to college. Same for me. I would do an adapted Cornell style for my notes when I would recopy my notes. I'd fold all of my pages in half, one column for lecture notes and one for supplementation from the text.
Not up, but I didn't really copy things in class. The color coding was just a way to occupy one track of my brain, and also to make my notes easier to read. It makes big blocks of similar text incomprehensible. With that, my brain is constantly running 3 tracks, and if one of them isn't occupied I'll get distracted. So I kept one of them in writing things down. One for the color coding and one listening to the teacher. I wrote down key points from the board and also what the teacher said, but never ever copying BC. It's boring and my brain just doesn't want to pay attention.
Also have horrible ADHD. When I was in college, I had to write notes by hand, even for things that the professor said I didn't need to write down. Because if I let myself stop taking notes, I'd stop paying attention. And when he switched back to the important shit I'd forget to start again. I also had to doodle a lot in the margins. Ironically, doodling helped keep me present in the moment instead of off in my own head. It kept me grounded to the real world. But, one of the funny things I would do a lot, was write what the current time was in the margins. So for a block of notes I'd have like, 11:45, written in the margin, then, 12 o'clock, in the next section, etc. I didn't even really realize I was doing it, but one day I loaned my notes to someone to copy and she laughed because she thought I was doing it on purpose to keep track of how long the professor spent on each subject to categorize by importance or something. Nope, just trying not to start thinking about how the universe works in my sociology class.
It's funny you mentioning needing to doodle to keep your attention because I remember hearing about a study where they were looking for new ways to keep the attention of children in class because they can be fidgety and such. The best method they found to keep their attention was to keep them blindfolded but let them doodle on paper while listening to the teacher. Although you might not have been blindfolded, I still think it's interesting that even at higher academic levels doodling can help students pay attention.
I have pretty intense ADHD, and I take notes writing on a Surface Pro. I switch colors constantly for the exact same reason. It helps me keep everything more organized and understandable for me if it's all different colors. I still color code based on class. Each class has a color. This color includes the folder color, the pen color, the sticky note color that the assignments are written on and placed in my planner on the date they are due. I also teach intra-statistics to undergraduates, where I also color code parts of the equations and the values that get inserted to the equation, so the students can see where the numbers come from more easily. Edited to change kids to students. That was a poor word choice on my part. Apologies.
You're my favorite type of math teacher. All of the teachers who used color to help me learn math were the ones who actually got stuff to stick.
Oh man. I never had that. Would have been so much easier. Color is so helpful for coding. When I do bookkeeping work I use it, but I'm so fucking messy and disorganized it looks like a serial killer trying to use sacred geometry to tell Google to buy groceries and set a reminder for pigeons. The financials look good though. So I do get there.
Greater than where I also color code parts of the equations and the values that get inserted to the equation, so the kids can see where the numbers come from more easily. Sploosh, nervous sweat.
Amy Santiago wants to know your location.
No kidding, that's so smart, I'm going to have to do that.